Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 12:40 a.m. and I woke up from a very long winter's nap about an hour ago. We went to Christmas Carol and dinner tonight, well, lunch, and when we got home, Alex was so tired from going out last night that he's like, I think I might just go to bed for the evening. And I was like, for the evening? He's like, yeah. And so I came up about 2.5 hours later, and he like woke up, and I said, 'twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring except for Boo, Radley, Pee-Pee, and Tucker. Not even a mouse. And then I went, while Ma in her kerchief, I know that's not the next line, but I said, your Ma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. He goes, no. I go, your Ma in her kerchief. Oh, man. And then the last 2 days with Pee-Pee have just not been great. Pee-Pee, you know, I just said on here the other day in the vlog, as I was saying it, I was like, now that you say it out loud, he's gonna start coughing, and he's been coughing like the last 2 days have been really rough. And I woke up tonight, and I laid down about 7:30. I think it was like 7:30, and I slept till 11:30. It was really nice. And I woke up, and I was like, Alex was like on the floor in the bathroom. The bathroom door was open with the light on, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, Pee-Pee vomited all over the floor. And I just don't think he feels good right now. I think he's really struggling, and he's like not wanting to take his medicine with the cheese anymore, which he really hasn't. Tonight he did. So maybe his stomach's feeling a little bit better, I don't know, or he's feeling a little bit better, but the other thing is he lost another tooth, so I'm not entirely sure. Like, when I call the vet, and I'm gonna call her tomorrow, like, sometimes she's like when he lost a tooth before, she said, you know, for dogs, like, pain it looks kind of universal, so you don't really know, like, if he's in pain because of the heart and the coughing stuff, or if he's in pain because of the tooth. Like, you don't really know, you know? Which is so sad with little puppies, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's which one it is, you know what I mean? And, but he just looked worn out. And then, when I got up, and, like, so most of the evening, he just, you know, like, the last 2 days, he's just, like, rested and been in bed, and he doesn't really want to do a whole lot. But then when I left tonight, because Alex was like, can you put Boo and Tucker, because he has to be up really early tomorrow, because it's his last day of work until next weekend, and he has to work one day and do, like, meetings and stuff, excuse me, before we leave to go out of town. And which I don't love the idea of going out of town when Pee-Pee's not feeling well, but I mean, he'll be with Tanya, and, you know, she knows our vet really well and stuff like that, and she'll call me, and if something happens, you know, we'll deal with it that way. But I'm just hoping this week he recoups and starts feeling better. But anyway, he was like, can you put Boo and Tucker in their house? Because sometimes they sleep down in their crate. Well, Boo loves to sleep in his crate. He's down there all the time anyway. If we leave the door open to the crate, and Boo probably just goes down there and sleeps. So I said, come on, you guys, let's go potty outside. And Pee-Pee was like, he like popped up and like jumped off the bed and like ran downstairs. And I was like, oh, okay, now you want to feel better, I guess, when you had me worried. Last night when I went to bed, his cough was bad. I mean, it was literally like every 5 minutes for probably a half an hour. And I like wrapped him in the comforter, and I like just held him, because I was like, I think he gets kind of scared sometimes when it happens, because he still doesn't really understand what it is, you know? He's like fine as soon as it's over, but like while he's coughing, you can kind of see like the look on his face, like he's kind of a little nervous. I also think that, I don't know why I have this impression, but I feel like Pee-Pee's eyesight and his like hearing is not as great as it used to be. Because sometimes I can be standing behind him and I'll be like, pee-pee, 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 and he like won't turn around. And then I like come around and he kind of like looks up, like he sees me. So I don't know. I mean, you know, he's not a little young little pup anymore. That makes me sad. But when I left, he was completely fine. He was downstairs, and then I put Boo and Tucker in their house, and while I was like looking up some stuff, sitting at my desk, he ran. I could hear him like run up the 2 sets of stairs, and then he was like beside the bed, and he was like this. So he goes upstairs, and if I don't like go up there and put him up on the bed, because he can't jump on the bed anymore, and so he just stands next to Alex's side of the bed, and he goes, and I could hear him, and he was like, and then I heard Alex like turn over and like pick him up and put him on the bed. He's so cute. I got real emotional last night. I was like, PP, I don't know what I'm gonna do without you, little guy. Like, you're my best friend in the whole world. He is too. He's my best friend. I can't talk about this tonight. I get real emotional. I mean, today was such a great day. I don't want to make myself sad. And Alex and I were today talking about it again, and I said we just need to enjoy our time with him, you know, instead of borrowing trouble that he's going to be gone one of these days, which is inevitable anyway, you know what I mean? My last can of Winter Spice Cranberry Sprite from Teresa. Thank you, Teresa. I have greatly enjoyed this case of Sprite. I really have. I mean, I love Sprite, and it's not that much different, but after drinking a case of it, you can tell the difference. But it's just really, really faint. Do you know what? This is going to sound crazy when I say this. Well, if you drink, it won't probably sound crazy, but I almost kind of wonder, like if you mixed this with something, like if you, like it was like a vodka Sprite or something like that, if it wouldn't, like you wouldn't be able to taste it more, maybe. And I almost kind of wonder, because I think that's probably why people, like, they make these, you know, because like Canadian Dry, ginger ale has like, I think a cranberry or one at Christmas time, and there's like the cherry Sprite, and I think they're more like mixer type sodas. And I mean, in all reality, I think that's probably what they're for, you know? But just to drink it as like a Sprite, like if I handed you this, and I didn't tell you that it was, like if it just looked like the can just looked like a Sprite, I don't even think that you would say, oh, there's something different about that. What is this? I really don't. But it's still good. It tastes a little bit crisper. Come on, everybody, to Santa Claus's party. So today, what did you do today, Peter? Well, today was a fantastic day. Well, after me being worried about pee-pee all night long last night, this is where I just think it's like, I get really worried because like the vet said, I mean, I said to her, not the last time, but a couple times ago, I said to her, I go, like, how will we know, you know, when things are getting bad with pee-pee? And she said, oh, you'll know. And I go, what do you mean? And she said, just, you'll know, Peter. She's like, with dogs with like heart disease, it goes rather quickly. And she was like, you know, so you'll know. So anytime he's having like a bad day or a bad part of the day or whatever, I start worrying. Like just about him being lethargic and being tired all the time, you know? But he's all, like, I say that, and then Alex is like, Peter, PP has always been somebody that sleeps a lot. I mean, somebody. He's always been a dog that sleeps a lot, which is true. I mean, like, he sleeps all the time, right? And then, like, I was freaking the other night because I took him out in the cold, and it was cold, but he was only out there for like a minute, and he came inside, and he was kind of like trembling and stuff. And I said to Alex, it was like, he's like trembling and stuff. And Alex is like, Peter, I've been with the dog for 12 years. Like, PP always trembles like that. And he does, and it's true. Like, and Chihuahuas kind of do that anyway. That Chihuahua that I met, like, outside the gas station, by the way, last night, it was this couple, and they were traveling home for Christmas. The whole back of their car was, like, all filled with Christmas presents. And so, like, the guy had gone inside to the bathroom. I don't know what he was doing inside. He went inside to the gas station. I went inside to the bathroom when I went to the gas station. But anyway, when he came out, like right as I was getting out of my car, and I said, oh, I want to see your little dog. And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, he's really friendly and whatever. And he He was a little brown and white Chihuahua, like light brown and white. And then the girlfriend went inside, and she's like, he's super friendly. They were so nice. And so he like picked him up so that I could like pet him, and like I shook his little paw, and he had this like overbite. He was like, he was so cute. I don't remember what they said his name was, but it was something like that cracked me up. Because it was something like pertinent to my life, like it was like Beast or something like that, but it wasn't Beast. I can't remember what it was, but it was something that I was like, oh my God, that's so funny, because now I can't remember what his name was, but it was something like that. Oh, Pedro, it was Pedro, because I was like, I go, oh, that's like me, I'm Peter and Pedro. He was so cute, this little Chihuahua. They had a little coat on him, and he was all wrapped up, and he was shaking too, so it's like Chihuahuas just like, they shake like that anyway. But then we woke up this morning to go to the play, and Pee-Pee was completely fine. So I'm like, okay, so I had to hold you all. And then Alex is, this is the other thing, and Alex is like, you sit there and hold him like a baby, and you kiss him like 5 million times. And he was like, and then I come home, and he's like hopping around the bed. He goes, I think he plays into your emotions. I go, Alex, he's a dog. He goes, well, I think he knows that if he acts that way, you'll like treat him like that. Because I literally held him like a baby all night long. And I was like, it's going to be okay, Pee-Pee. It's going to be okay. Well, for a half an hour, he did have that horrible cough. But then after that, he didn't. But like, I was falling asleep, and I was so uncomfortable with how I was holding him. But I was like, I'm just going to hold him all through the night because he needs me to. I don't know. But then, like, this morning we woke up, and he was like, arr, 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 arr. He was like hopping around and stuff like that. And he was completely fine. So, I never know. Anyway, we got up today. I was up by 10:45 this morning, y'all. Okay, 10:45, and took a shower, got dressed. I actually like did my hair nice and stuff like that. I looked nice today. I tried to. The pictures are over on my Instagram, I think. But anyway. Did I put a picture up on my Instagram? No, I will. I have some pictures of the day. I put them on my Instagram story is what I did. But anyway, we drove downtown. We picked up Sarah, and then we drove downtown. She lives 2 minutes from us. And it was funny because I hadn't driven down her, well, I had, but I had driven like the other way down her street. And her street is like just right around the corner from us. And so when I was going through it, so the friends of ours that makes the stuffing, if you've watched my vlog for a while, you know who I'm talking about. So we have a family friend, and she was like best friends with my aunt and uncle, she and her husband. Well, they were really good friends with my mom too. And so she makes this incredible stuffing for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we would always call it her stuffing. But anyway, and their kids are like grown up and whatever, and they live in this they used to live like in a small condo, and now they live like in this fantastic house now, kind of right down the street from us still, but it's like this gorgeous house. But anyway, when I was growing up, they lived on Sarah's street, and I was like, oh my God, we passed it, and I looked and I was like, oh my God, Alex, that's so-and-so's house. And he was like, that's where they lived when you were growing up, because I've told him a lot of stories about, you know, being over there and stuff like that. And he was like, I was like, yeah, I'm almost positive. And then we came to a house like 6 or 8 houses down, and I was like, maybe that's the house, because my cousin Caroline, she had a really good friend that had twin brothers. This is kind of a funny story. So when my cousin was in high school, my cousin is 3 years older than me. When Caroline was 3 years older than me, today when I was talking to her on the phone, she said, I feel like every time I start talking about, because she watches all my review videos, she goes, I feel like I turn on your review video and then I like go and do stuff around the kitchen. And she goes, I feel like every review video, you're like, my cousin Caroline, our grandma that went to prison. She started laughing. I was like, Caroline, I go, it's the truth. And it's my, she's like, ah, she was like laughing. She thought it was hilarious. She's like, I mean, it is the truth. She's like, who cares? You know what I mean? She's like, what do we have to hide? It's just you and me at this point. She's like, we do have a grandma that went to prison. So anyway, I mean, we didn't know it when our grandma was, we didn't even know it. I mean, we knew it when my aunt was alive, but like my aunt and my cousin never talked about it, because I think my mom, or like my aunt kind of put my cousin off when she asked her about it or something. I don't know. But then Caroline, she asked her dad, and like her dad didn't know about it. And my dad, I guess, knows because my mom told him. I don't know. But anyway, her dad didn't know about the first time or something. I don't know how it's crazy. Our family is crazy. So anyway, But I'll tell you about that in a second because I talked to Caroline today. But anyway, when we were driving down Sarah Street, I was like, oh my God, that's their house. Well, Caroline had this friend in high school, and oh my God, that guy has like on a red sequin jacket. I'm like in my head, like, because this whole thing, like, if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, half of them say like a sequined dress and half of them say a sequins dress. And there was like this whole debate on the show one night, and I've always said like a sequined pillow. Is that correct? Like, which one is correct? I don't know. Anyway, so Caroline had this friend of hers, like elementary, junior high, and high school, and this girl was real cute. And she was real fun and different. She was kind of Courtney Lovish in high school, just real different, you know? In fact, today when Caroline and I were talking about her, she was like, yeah, she was a little bit more of a partier than I was in high school. I was like, she was like, yeah, she was kind of a stoner. She was like, but we were friends, but she's like, she was like more like in elementary and junior high. She was like, in high school, we weren't as close. She was like, I still was friends with her, you know, and stuff, but like I wasn't as close with her as I was in like junior high and elementary school. But anyway, this girl had 2 twin brothers, like identical twin brothers. And I don't know how I met them. I don't remember. But it wasn't, like, I had met them, like, when Caroline and their sister was friends when they were younger. Because, like, we would all, like, go to this country club that was called Devon Country Club. It's not much of a country club. I think it costs, like, $10 a year to be a member. And we would all go swimming there in the summers. Because, like I said, my mom would come and stay, like, extended period of time at my aunt's house. And so, like, Caroline and me and all of her friends would go to this Devon Country Club that was right up the street. It's not like, I mean, it's a country club, but it's not, like, really, it's not, like, a fancy country club, you know what I mean? It's, like, it's a low-rent country club. But it's where you can, like, go for the summer, and then, like, the moms can sit there and they can have lunches and things like that. I mean, it's that. And then the kids can swim, and they have a concession stand and all that, whatever. But we used to all swim together and, like, all this kind of stuff. Well, I met them later at like a party or something, like when I was in high school, which is weird because I didn't go to a lot of parties in high school. But I met them later somewhere, and I like had the biggest crush on one of these brothers. But I wasn't out, so of course I wouldn't have said anything to anybody, right? So anyway, I was asking Caroline today, I was like, what happened to them? And she's like, well, they're married and they're here. I was like, oh. But anyway, I remember them coming to the party, and I was like, oh my God, that's like so and so and so. And I mean, because they're identical twins. And I had like I had 2 friends that were identical twins in high school. But I feel like the high school that I went to, there were a lot of identical twins, and like good looking identical twins. There were like these 2 guys, they were like a year older than me, and they were identical twins. I think one of them lives out of town, and the other one, I actually know him very, very well. Alex and I know him through like social circles. He's really nice today. He's still actually really good looking today, like very good looking. And we knew his ex-wife really well. I mean, we know her better than we knew him, but there's like a lot of twins that went to my high school. I've known a lot of twins in my life, period. You know, in my book, that's always funny, I always forget this. In my book, Danny was an identical twin. My main character. Look at, I brought this lip balm tonight. It's the red counterpart. It's the gold one. I actually think it's prettier. I don't know why, but I do. They kind of remind me of my Starbucks cups a little bit. You can't see it, but on the bottom of this, it does, and the red one doesn't have it, but on the bottom of this, right here, it goes where it's like all jeweled, and it's like different colors of jewels all the way around. So let's try this. This is the vanilla. I've never tried this. See, it's brand new. Do you see? Oh, it smells just like a sugar cookie. That is really, really nice. I feel like I should go in and buy some more of these. They were $20. I wonder if they still have them. Because I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of them, and I really like them. It doesn't matter. I have so many lip balms, and I keep on finding new ones that I like. And then, like, literally, people always say to me, like, what do you do with all the lip balms that people send you and all that kind of stuff? You guys, I have literally a lip balm everywhere. Like, I have a lip balm in the kitchen in the round thing. I have a lip balm over, there. I have the bag of lip balms by the computer. I have a lip balm in the bathroom. I have several lip balms in the bathroom. Like, several. And then, like, beside my bed, I have a lip balm. Alex takes some of the lip balms and puts them beside his bed. I have lip balms in my car. I have lip balms in my fanny pack. I have lip balms in my backpack. I keep them everywhere. So I do replenish them. I mean, it seems like it was funny because I dumped the bag of my lip balms out in a video the other day, and everybody was like, oh my God, when he dumped that bag of lip balms, that was so funny because there were so many lip balms. And I was like, I actually thought I had more lip balms than this. But anyway, I think I do have like, what do you call it? A Tupperware container somewhere else of one. But anyway, I meant to trim my nail before I left. This is gonna crack somebody up in here. Hold on a second. I have the world's smallest emery board that I got from I think this was Ultra Sephora. It's Sephora. It was in the advent calendar. Melissa got in my car the other day. She's like, are you filing your nails? And I said, hell yeah, I'm filing my nails. She was like, do you file your nails? I said, I used to be really weird. Do you guys want to hear back in the day? When I was, this is before I was sober. Before I got sober, I would trim my nails like every third day, and then I painted them with clear nail polish. And I mean, people would stop me and they'd be like, your nails are beautiful. They're never long. I've never kept my nails long. But I'm kind of like really weird about how my nails look. And people have said on here before, like I've gotten like nasty haters, that will say like, oh my God, your nails look so long. Well, the thing is this, is that if I'm afraid that I'm gonna like rip a nail or something, or if I haven't, like if I've left the house and I've forgotten to trim them, like that's, like I will leave them long before, because I wanna clip them to make sure that they're like all even and whatever, and they're, so that they don't rip and stuff, because I've had that happen before. Oh my God, that is total hell, isn't it? When you like rip a fingernail. But excuse me. But anyway, that was kind of nice that I got that. That was probably worth the, no, it probably wasn't worth the $20 that I got in that advent calendar. But anyway, so we picked up Sarah. Okay, so that's how we were driving down the street, and I was like, oh, that's so-and-so's house. Okay, so the first one was the so-and-so's house, and they were both gray. Like, both houses have been painted gray now. And so I called Caroline later, and I was like, did the so-and-so's live on? Because I told Alex, and he was like, looked at me like he didn't believe me. And I was like, to Caroline, I said, did the so-and-so's live on the street when we were growing up? She was like, yeah, they sure did. And I was like, well, which house was it? Was it the first one or the second one? And she was like, the first one. And I was like, and it's gray, right? And in my memory, I remember it being gray. And she was like, and this is so funny, isn't this about memory? And she was like, no, it was green. And I go, it was green? And she was like, yeah. And I said, but it's gray now. And so I had to go back out. And so I was driving by it again later. And it's like a grayish green, like now. So I looked at it and I was like, it's like almost exactly the same color as it was like 30 years ago, 40. I mean, it would have been longer than that. It would have been 40 years ago, So crazy. I mean, it's like almost still exactly the same color. But I looked at it and I called it like, it was like a grayish green, and I called it gray, and Caroline called it green. So anyway, we went and picked up Sarah, and then we drove downtown, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, but we were early. We got downtown an hour before the play started, and it was at the same time, the play was at the same time as the Colts game today. The Indianapolis Colts football team, in case you don't know what that means. And where the play is and where the football game is, it was at the end. Anyway, where the play is and where like the football stadium is, Lucas Oil Stadium, is like 3 blocks apart from each other. So there were like all these people walking to the play, all these people walking to the football stadium, and then on the circle was the Hilbert Theater, which is where they play the symphony plays. And so they have this thing that they do every year called the Yuletide celebration. It's this like huge deal, and so there were people going to that too. I mean to tell you, and then the Idle Jordan Museum, which is it's this museum of like Native American culture, and it's right by where IRT is. It's kind of on the IUPUI campus, kind of, and by the government center and the convention center and stuff. But they were having something today too. I don't know, like a Polar Express thing or something, and it doesn't matter. But anyway, so it was busy downtown, right? So anyway, we got downtown like an hour early though, and so when we were going downtown, I said, I'm gonna pull through Starbucks. Is this thing like not, oh, come on, you stupid camera. I was like, I'm gonna pull through Starbucks and I'm gonna get something to drink. Do you guys want anything? So of course Peter, stupidly, gets this, right? Well, I mean, it's not stupidly, I use it every single day. This one, or I have like 3 others that I use, but I used this one that I used the other day, I hadn't used it yet, and I really liked it, but these are bigger. I think these are really nice. So anyway, I got this, you know, my regular venti iced coffee with 2 equals or 1 equal. I usually get 1 equal. And the woman when I drove through there, she was like, and what was that else? And I said, and 1 equal. And she said, I don't know what that is. And I said, equal like a sweet and low? She goes, I don't know what that is. And I said, like a sugar substitute? And then there was like silence on the other end. And I said, like any sugar substitute? She said, in 1 sugar. And I was like, whatever, 1 sugar is just fine. So anyway, but Alex and Sarah both got blonde Americanos. He got a grande and she got a tall, but they didn't drink. We were like right there, like when we went through Starbucks. Like we were like a couple blocks away. So I don't know, maybe like 5 miles away. Maybe not a couple blocks away, but anyway. So they just carried him into the theater with us. And the theater has like, it had bars and they had like special drinks and all this kind of stuff, you know. And so they just carried him into their seats. Well, then I'm bitter because I don't have a coffee to enjoy during the Christmas Carol. And I was like, well, do I want a Diet Coke? Like, I mean, what is at the bar that's gonna be like Christmassy? Like, and coffee's kind of Christmassy, I guess, you know, I don't know, maybe. And so I was like, well, what could I have that would be Christmassy? And then I saw that all of these people were carrying coffee cups around. And it was like the size of maybe like between a tall and a grande at Starbucks. And so I went up to the bar, like, well, we went to go find our seats. And because Sarah was like, can we go find our seats? And then if I have to go to the bathroom, I'll know where to go. And I said, yeah, that's fine. We unbelievable seats, 4th row, fantastic. I mean, literally like eye level with the stage. It was fantastic. Like not the stage, but like we were like a foot above this. It was just perfect seats. So anyway, and probably I would say 10 feet away from the stage, like 10 or 15 feet away from the stage, and 4th row. It was like the seats were incredible. So anyway, I mean, Sarah even was like, good job, Peter, on the seat. Her and Alex do that thing where they're like, like the creaky old Halloween door, but they're like, oh my God. So anyway, and then we got little chocolates on our seat. There were little chocolates, bags of chocolates. I think I still have mine in here, actually. Yeah, I do. You want to see it? Should we try them? These might be Alex's canned chocolates, and they are from the best chocolate in town. I've never heard of it. Handmade, heartfelt. And I was going to show you my book or the magazine, but Alex is over there. Maybe that's not it. Okay, here's little chocolates. I'm going to have one. One, and one is enough for everyone. So anyway, I went out there and then I was like, well, I want something, a little Christmassy drink. So I saw that people were getting coffee, so I got a cup of coffee. I went up to the woman and I was like, she was so nice. I was like, there are 9 million people here. And the family in front of me, it was like a mom, a dad, and then like I think it was like their daughter and son-in-law, and then like somebody else. And they like got 5 big huge wines and they took forever. But Mary, Mary. And I was like, okay, hold on. It's an Oreo. And chocolate on the outside. That was delicious. I feel like maybe I have had chocolate from that place before. So anyway, I said to the woman, I said, do you guys have coffee? And she goes, I said, because I see people carrying coffee cups or something. I don't remember what I said, but she was like, yeah. And I was like, is it right here? She's like, no, you pay for it here, and I'll give you the cup. And like around the corner is the coffee bar. There was like a whole coffee bar. It was so cool. Well, I got a cup of coffee. This is good. This is really good. So, I got a cup of coffee, and then, after I went to the bathroom, I went back to my seat, and then the play started, and it was 90 minutes. That was really, really good. The set design was so cool, because basically, when you looked at the set, well, first of all, you could see behind, like, the scenes, like, the inner workings of the sides of the stage, and they wanted it to be that way. But when you looked at the stage, it looked just like the street covered in snow. And I mean, it was actual, like, she said at the end of it, because, like, they did this discussion after the play. We didn't stay for it. We were taking pictures. And one of the questions somebody asked is, like, what was the snow? And she said it's recycled plastic, and they get it from a place in Illinois, and they've used it for years and years and years. And you could see it on top of the stage, like, in the rafters. It's these huge rolling, like, things that have, like, holes in them that's filled with this, like, white plastic stuff. And so they crank it. When they crank it, it snows down on the stage. It's really cool. It snowed several times during the play, not just at the end, but... And then there was, like, a hill in the background that kind of, like, went up, like an actual hill, like, on the stage. And then there was a huge, like, backdrop. So the sets, the way the sets changed was they would carry stuff on the stage. Like the door of, like, the counting house where Bob Cratchit and Scrooge worked was, like, this huge frame that was, like this gilded frame that was, like, 15 feet by, like, 4 feet. And it acted as, like, the door to the counting house, but it also was, like, the mirror for Jacob Marley when he came to visit Scrooge. And then it, like, fell over Scrooge at one point, and they, like, dragged it away. And then they would, like, push back and forth this, like, scaffolding that had, like, on the top of it Scrooge's desk, and underneath it, like, Bob Cratchit's desk. And then they have this, like, bed, like, desk. It just was done very, very well. It was, like, modern, but they stuck to the traditional of it. They had, like, two casts of kids that played the parts of, like, the Cratchit kids and, like the younger Ebenezer Scrooge and stuff like that. Okay, they had, so, like, when you look at it, like, in the cast book, it was, like, cast A and cast B, and, like, they switch them out because they can't do both plays, and, like, you know, they can't do 2 plays a day. So, like, cast A does the first play, and cast B does the second play of the kids, right? So I looked down in the cast book before the play started, and it was, like, 2 little girls that were playing Tiny Tim. This little girl that played Tiny Tim was probably, like, Sebastian's age. She was adorable. Oh my god. So her hair was, like, this length, and they had it, like, parted on the side. She was so cute. She was so cute. She was hobbling around the stage on, like, her, you know, crutch. The kids that were in the play were fantastic. It was really, the whole thing was really good. Yeah, and it was cool, too, because the stage that was made up of snow was probably, like, 2 inches of this plastic stuff. So the whole time that they're walking on stage, the snow is moving. Like, it's, like, looks like real snow, you know? It was really, really good. And like I said, I looked over at one point, and Alex was, like, really crying. He was, like, bawling. And of course, you know me, I bawled my eyes out through several parts of it. It wasn't really the sad parts that made me cry. I was telling them that. I was like, the part about Scrooge and Belle, if you don't know the play, so Scrooge falls in love with this Belle. when he's like working in this mill when he's like probably 20 or something. But then he and Jacob Marley start this business, and he's focused on making money. And so he forgets that he's engaged. He proposes to Belle, and he forgets, and they're like really in love. But money becomes more important to him than love, which is basically the sentiment of that part of the play. And then she ends up giving him the ring back, and then she ends up marrying somebody else, and he sees her later. As he's like walking home, he sees her. I think that's during Christmas Present. He like sees her through the window. And I don't know why that really like got to me when I was watching it today. It was done well. Everything was, were all of them fantastic in the play. But anyway, there was that. And then afterwards, we were like all hungry. And so Sarah was like, let's go to P.F. Chang's. And Sarah was like, you guys treated for the tickets, so I want to treat you guys to lunch anywhere you want to go. And I was just like not hungry for Chinese. I go, can we do somewhere not Chinese? So then Alex starts listing off all of these places, because, you know, Alex, my husband, loves downtown Indianapolis. And we have this whole street that's called Massachusetts Avenue. When I was like 20, 21, that's where all the gay bars were. It was like known as the gay street in Indianapolis. But now it's like where all like the loft apartments are, and all of like it's where all of like the really innovative like marketing businesses are, and really cool apartments. There's like probably on that strip alone now, I mean, it's extended. It goes a lot further than it did when I was like growing up, but it has like probably 30 plus really cool restaurants, you know, some of them which make like top 10 lists in the United States and stuff like that. And so Alex is like, well, what about this and what about that? And I'm like, babe, like and I'm standing there like looking at the menus, because nothing looks real good to me on these menus, and as a vegetarian it's like really tough anyway. So we decided to go to this restaurant called Mesh on Mass, and they were both excited about that too. Now, I hadn't been to Mesh in a long time. Back in the day, Alex and I, we used to go to Mesh on Thursday evenings, and they did like a martini night, and it was like gay guy night on Thursday evenings. There was like this little bar special thing they did. It was like before everybody went out to go see, I think it was before everybody went out to go see a drag show. I forgot about that until we got there, and I was like, oh my God, did we used to come here for martini nights on Thursdays? Because I could remember like sitting there, you know, all of these guys sitting around drinking martinis, and I'd be drinking a Diet Coke. And that was like when Alex and I, the first couple years that we dated, we would go do that. But anyway, Mesh has been around for a long time. And it's just kind of like I wouldn't say high-end, like a steakhouse, but it's a nice restaurant. It's a really nice restaurant. And so we sat down, and they were serving brunch until 3:30, and then they have like the dinner menu. I actually knew our waiter, which was funny. I've known him for like 30 plus years. Well, since not 30 years, but I've known him since I was like going out and like the gay scene back in the day. I was like, oh my God, how are you? It's so good to see you. And I introduced him to Sarah and Alex. But anyway, so we ordered, well, Alex got a Caesar salad, and then we ordered wedges off of, Sarah and I, off of the brunch menu. And they had like seared pancetta, like bacon, and I got mine without that. And Sarah got hers on the side, but she didn't end up eating it. The wedge was so good. And then we ordered our main meal, and I got a portobello grilled cheese. It was vegetarian with truffle fries. Okay, you guys, let me just tell you about this grilled cheese. I've had some really interesting grilled cheeses. I kind of like that these, I think there should be like an upscale restaurant just called grilled cheese, and they should have all different kinds of grilled cheese sandwiches on there. Don't you think that that would do really, really well? I think so. And then they could have like 5 different kinds of fries. So anyway, and you could order just like 5 or 6 different kinds of baskets of fries, like waffle fries, salt and vinegar fries, truffle fries, regular fries, skinny fries, fat fries, steak fries. You can have all kinds of fries and grilled cheese sandwiches, and you just call it grilled cheese and fries. And it could be upscale. Don't you think it'd be really cool? I do. Anyway, and Alex got Oh, he got a cheeseburger, and he demolished it. He was so hungry. He got a cheeseburger and fries, truffle fries. And then Sarah got this vegetable curry that I almost got too, that came with rice. And I tried a couple bites of it. It was delicious. It was so, so, so good. So good. Anyway, yeah, and then we just sat there. Oh, and we got at the end, it was kind of frozen a little bit. The guy felt bad. He was like, it's kind of a little frozen, but I've been trying to like warm it up. We got a orange and brown sugar cheesecake, and it was delicious. It didn't matter. It was frozen, but it was like delicious. The manager came out and she was like, how is everything? And we're like, oh my God, it was delicious. It was fantastic. And Sarah goes, except for the cheesecake, which was a little frozen. She goes, frozen? And Sarah takes it with a fork and she like picks it up and like let it drop. The woman goes, oh my. And she goes, well, I'm glad you enjoyed your dinner. And she walked away. And Sarah goes, do you think that's strange? I was like, yeah, I think that's kind of weird. She didn't take it off the menu because it was frozen. I mean, we could hardly get our forks into it. And it had like a scoop of, what do you call it? Orange, sherbet on the side, and the sherbet was softer than the cheesecake was. You couldn't even hardly get into the cheesecake. But it didn't matter. We were still eating it. It was all gone. It was good. And so then after that, we came home and we took Sarah home. And we talked about Christmas stuff and the whole way home. And then I dropped off Alex, and I had to run and do a couple errands. And then I had to come home and do a couple things at the house. So I was like, on the way home, he was like, are you going to make videos? And I was like, I really want to. I was like, but at the same time, I kind of liked it because he was like, well, I'm going to go to bed. And I love to nap with my husband. It's like one of my favorite things. And he doesn't love to nap. Like, he will every once in a while, but he doesn't, like, it's not his favorite thing. Because he's like, if I nap, then I might as well just go to bed for the night. So I said, okay, well, let me go get my stuff done real quick. Oh, somebody told me about that. This is what, somebody told me about that Closey's mouthwash, and I actually got it, and they have it at Meijer. So, but anyway, yeah, and then I came back. Oh, I was like, yeah, I want to make videos, but blah, blah, blah. At that point, it was like 5:15, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to take a nap with my husband, like a long nap. I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm going to start uploading my vlog, and I am just going to, like, you know, Peter, you don't have to do that every single day, even though you want to. You know, you can just take a day. So I was like, you know what? I'll be back tomorrow, and I just have so much fun doing videos. You know, like, I struggle. Peter, don't get into some YouTube conversation tonight. But like, let's keep it lighthearted. But I struggle, like, when I hear YouTubers of any size talk about, like, and I know I don't edit, I get it, okay? But then maybe evaluate how much editing you're doing on your video. You know, if you're putting 5 to 20 hours into the video, if it's like a highly edited animated video, or it has to have all these jump cuts or something like that, I kind of understand that. But like, if you're like doing a video that maybe like figure out why it's taking you so long to edit. Like, could you like maybe not edit as much, you know? When I started on YouTube, I got so much criticism for not editing. People were like, oh my God, you don't edit, blah, 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 whatever. There's all these and likes and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, get over it. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. You know what I mean? Like, this is my channel. And back in the day, when I watched YouTube, nobody edited. There was none of this jump cutty kind of stuff, you know? Which it actually drives me crazy now when I watch videos like that. Because I'm like, you were saying something and then it just literally cut to something else, and like, I don't even, like, what were you saying and why did you choose to cut it out? Like, to me, I don't love that. But anyway, that's what I wasn't talking about. These YouTubers that are like, well, like, I'm really gonna need to take a break from YouTube. Like, I've been on an upload schedule, the same upload schedule for, you know, 3 years, and it's been really tough. And they upload 1 video a week or 2 videos a week, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, do you even enjoy doing this? Like, I love it. Like, people always ask me, like, if YouTube went away tomorrow, what would you do? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I love it. Like, you know, I mean, I've only been on it for 3.5 years, but in all honesty, I can't imagine my life without it. I really can't. And the other thing is, when people want to sit and complain about the platform of YouTube all the time, like, I'm like, I'm very grateful for the platform of YouTube. Do I think that there are some things that could be changed or could be different? Sure. But you know, when you look at it, like, first of all, it's a free platform, okay? We get to get on there and, you know, like, post videos about anything. You could. I can. Any of us can, right? Can post a video that potentially anybody out there could see. And so, yes, there are rules and things you have to follow to do that. I totally understand that, right? And then on top of it, not only is it a platform where you get to post videos, but you get the possibility of putting ad revenue on it to make money off of that. Like, that's pretty incredible. You know what I mean? And I'm extremely grateful for that. I mean, I'm really grateful for it. I don't think it's any surprise to anybody that at this point with 5 channels, this is pretty much kind of my, you know, career of what I do. And to think that I ever thought that that would be possible, you know, like, I just never really thought that the day that would ever be possible. So I struggle, you know, like, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but I struggle with that. Like, I'm like, okay, I keep late nights. I do like a really long vlog every day, you know, like, I do all this because I want to, and I still like spend a lot of time with my dogs, go to vet appointments, 15 errands during the day, you know, like, have other things that Alex and I run together, a little business stuff on the side, you know, and then like I have my recovery stuff, you know, like going to meetings and all the behind the scenes stuff in my recovery that you guys never see or hear about on here. You know, there's a lot of things that I have going on, including like listening to audiobooks, reading books, working on my books, you know, like things like that. And it's like, get passionate about something in your life, you know, like if you're not passionate about posting one video on YouTube a week, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe this isn't what you should be doing, you know? And it kind of like, whenever I hear YouTubers like say that, and then I read the comment sections and people are like, take as much time as you need, blah, blah, blah. If I was like a viewer of that person, like that turns me off. I understand somebody. Like, I understand this, okay? I understand a YouTuber being like, I pulled this one, but I want the other one. Being like, I need to take like a 6-month sabbatical, or I need to take like a 6-month break from YouTube. I totally get that, okay? I totally understand needing to step away and just taking care of yourself, even a year or two. Like, I get it, right? And I think your audiences will stick around for you. Like, but I don't know. I struggle. It was at the very end and I didn't know it, but I said I struggle with that. I do. I struggle with that. Like watching people like, I don't know. I just want to shake them and be like, can you step back for a second and look at what you've been given? Like, this is amazing. And I'm not talking about, like, this is what kills me with it. I'm not talking about, like, no offense, but the people that have 500 or 1,000 subscribers. I sometimes think the less subscribers you have, the more drive some people have. Because the less you have, the more driven you are to reach your goals. But then it's like these people that were, like, literally overnight given, like, you know, like, what do you call it? You know, like, let me make I want to say something about this, though, because people are going to jump to conclusions about who I mean. I'm not really thinking about any specific person in my head, honestly, when it comes to this, and I probably feel different about each certain situation. But, like, Tati Westbrook has been, like, uploading, I think, like, 5 times a week for, like, ever, or something like that, 3 times a week. And she recently came out and said that she was going to post, I think, only twice a week, right? She also owns a makeup company and the Halo Beauty thing, right? Like, she's also married. She's focusing on wanting to, like, start a family. Like, to me, that's completely different, right? And she has other stuff going on. But when you are, like, 25 years old, you're not in school, you do not work a full-time job, your full-time job is YouTube, right? And you've been given this platform literally overnight, okay? Your channel blew up. It's like, could you have a little gratitude for that? So when you're sitting here talking about, well, like, it's just gotten really tough. No, it's like you have no creative ideas anymore. You better reinvent yourself. You better do something different, you know? But anyway. But anyway, I'm like in my head thinking, I'm like, but then I think you also go through some stuff too. You know, I think like the one thing is this is like, I think a lot of these, like, you know, for me, I mean, I started on YouTube, like consistently posting videos at what, 43, 44? I mean, like, I kind of knew who I was to some degree, you know what I mean? Even though I've changed a lot since I've been on YouTube. YouTube's really helped me, like, grow as a person and change. And become, like, less, you know, socially awkward. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe I'm still socially awkward. But, like, my social anxiety is not as bad as it was, but it's still pretty bad. But I think with, I don't know, with some things it's really helped. But, like, you know, when you start YouTube and you're, let's say, like 17, 18 years old, and you amass some kind of following rather quickly, which I think happens with many of, like, the bigger YouTubers, like the ones that are pretty big right now, like when you look at, like, Emma Chamberlain and Tana Mojo and, you know, like the Dolan twins and James Charles and these people that are younger, right? Like, I think they literally blew up overnight. Well, if you had asked me at 17 and you had asked me at 40, like, what I wanted to do, those would have been two completely different things. And I don't even know that at 17, like, I don't even know that they would be the same question, you know? I don't even know that I think that's a fair question to ask. And so here we've seen some of these kids that have been doing YouTube in their developmental years grow up, and it's like all of a sudden they realize, like, I'm a different person. Like, I don't want to be the same person that I was 5 years ago, like, in public. Like I put this persona out. I think this, you know who I think is a good example of this is Glitter Forever 17, Breland. Like, I think she grew up being DIY and being cutesy and all this kind of stuff, and then I think all of a sudden she was a woman and in a relationship, and, you know, she was wanting to talk about grown-up things, and her audience wasn't prepared for it, and she just kind of, like, and I think also many people on YouTube grow up in kind of an isolated, sheltered bubble, because you're very alone when you're doing this, you know? And so maybe, like, the way that you perceive the world is different than the way that other people perceive the world, and so you may come across as awkward or different to other people. So I think it's tough, you know? And I think, like, I sometimes wonder, you know, like, we look at, like, child stars of, like, back in the day, you know, like the cast of, like, Different Strokes, and oh my God, like, so many, you know, when we talk about all these cast of these kids, right, and, like, where they're at today and, like, what happened to them and all this kind of stuff. I mean, back in the day, do you remember, like, on Sally Jesse Raphael and Geraldo and stuff? That was, like, a hot topic issue that they would talk about, was, like, child stars and, like, what happened to them, and half of them were, like, drug addicts and had, like, ruined their lives, and, like, there was, like, no hope, and, like, since then a lot of them have passed away and died and overdosed. It's just really tragic and sad, right? And they would talk about the whole idea of this, like, sudden fame, you know, that you're, like, 10 or, you know, 8 or 16, and all of a sudden there's, like, this, you know who talked a lot about this was Drew Barrymore in her book Little Girl Lost, which I think she wrote when she was, like, 16, but I loved that book. But anyway, but, you know, like, all of a sudden there's this sudden fame and you're getting all this attention and whatever, right? But it's like, what do you do with that? And I almost kind of, like, wonder, like, what do you do with it when it's over? Like, what do you do when the show stops? You know what I mean? Like, and you're not getting another acting gig, and you're, you know, known for being Jan Brady or something like that. What do you do? Like, that's got to be hard, right? Like, Jan Brady cannot go in all of a sudden, you know, and play Juliet and Romeo and Juliet. People are going to look at her and be like, that's Jan Brady. You know what I mean? Marsha. Oh, Jan. But anyway, sure, Jan. One of my all-time favorite, like, gifts of life, even though I know that's corny, but I also love Irma Gerd, my favorite Berkshire Gershbergs. I kept on saying that today and I didn't get it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But I kind of wonder if YouTubers are going to be the same way. Like, if we're not going to see a fallout of a lot of these YouTubers in the next 5 or 10 years, that a lot of these YouTubers, like, if their channels don't continue to grow or, like, take them to the next level, you know, it'd be very similar to, like, somebody getting off a TV show, and then do they go and continue to do, like, movies? Do they do other TV shows? Like, when we look at child stars that have been very, very successful, like Anna Paquin, they're the ones that, like, went to Harvard University, went to Princeton, got acting degrees while they were doing movies. You know, who's the other girl that I'm thinking about? I can see her in my head. You know, but Jodie Foster was that way. She went to Princeton, you know? None of these YouTubers are going to college. None of these YouTubers are getting degrees in case the bottom falls out of all of this. You know, it doesn't even have to be YouTube not happening anymore. You know, what if people just got bored of James Charles or Emma Chamberlain? What if, like, I think this happened to Tyler Oakley, what if all of a sudden Emma Chamberlain or James Charles, like, his audience all of a sudden grows up, and, you know, James Charles is 27 years old, still doing videos, you know, that he's doing today, and hi sisters, I mean, like, I don't know about you, but, like, at 27, like, when I was, like, you know, working a full-time job, and I was wanting to go out with my friends in the evening and, like, go to a nice dinner, or go out to, you know, a club or whatever, I wasn't really wanting to, like, sit around and be hi sistering people, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, that fandom is going to change over time, and when that fandom ages out, if those people don't age with them, like, this would be my biggest piece of PR advice, not being a PR person, but if you don't bring your people along for the ride, like your audience, you're stupid, because you're going to end up losing that audience. It's like, I really think it's what happened with Tyler Oakley. Like, he had this mass following, and he's lost tons of subscribers, because the reality is, and he doesn't get the same kind of views that he used to get, nobody wants to see you sitting in an apartment, Tyler, and try on wigs while you're high. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to see you sit around and talk about One Direction anymore. You're in your 30s, dude. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to see that. I mean, this is just the truth that I'm talking about, right? Like, people want to see you, like, doing a DIY, or giving me a house tour, or taking you on vacation, because that's what your audience is doing today. Your audience that supported you and grew up with you and went to college with you, because he did go to college, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Like, they're excited that you got spots on the Ellen Show, even though that didn't last. I don't know why. I've heard through the grapevine a few things, but, you know, like, or that you, like, got to host red carpets for stuff, or you got to go to the Olympics. Like, your fan, like, show them that. Like, those are the videos you should be making. Like, I think people would love to see that, like, your age, you know? But then I go to his channel, and what's there? Oh, I'm gonna get high and throw on my box of wigs. Who'd care? Those are, I mean, you lost me at that one, dude. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I think these YouTubers don't understand it sometimes. It's like, maybe I'll talk about that in my video tomorrow. That's like what, you know, there's always like this discussion about ageism on YouTube. And, so, you know, for a long time I was criticized about being older, or, you know, that the things that I was talking about in my videos and whatever. But, like, you know, what's interesting is I have, so I was talking to my YouTube manager, right? And we were going through my numbers. And I was like in my head, like, should I go there? Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I was like talking to him, and we were like going through my numbers. And he said that your average age group is like relatively stable for two groups. And it was like 25 to like 34 and 34 to 50. It was like those two groups are like, they spike at those two groups. And my audience is, now no offense to the men out there, you know I love you, okay? But it was 94% women. And he was like, what's interesting about this in regards to other channels that are, you know, similar to you, or like, and he was looking at all of my channels, right? He said that your view rate is much higher. And I go, what do you mean? And he was like, the consistency that people are watching your videos, like even if you, let's say, maybe somebody is pulling, you know, 80,000 views and I'm pulling 20,000 views on a video, that maybe they're watching my videos because it's an older audience who at the end of the day wants to sit down there and they have the time and the energy to sit down there, and they will watch, like if I post a 20-minute video, they're watching 18 minutes of it, like on average, versus a younger audience might not have the same attention span, so they're watching 6 minutes of a 15 or 20-minute video. Does that make sense? And he said, I know that sounds crazy, but on some level, your audience retainment is better than a lot of channels out there because you are older. He goes, I think it's because you're older, because he goes, you're kind of like, we don't really see a lot of older YouTubers out there, you know? And I had really never thought of it that way. And he said, I also think, he goes, it's interesting to me, he goes, he could track all kinds of stuff that I didn't even know about, but he was like, you seem to have similar audience traits like across all your channels. And he said, you seem to do a pretty good job of like getting people to engage in a positive way on your stuff, you know? And like, I have so many friends that go to this church over here. But he was like, you seem to have a pretty committed audience. And I was like, I have like a really nice audience, you know? Like, and it was interesting. I think I talked about this last night, but somebody said on one of my videos recently, because I said something about like, let's keep it classy, but like people are typically really nice in the comment sections. If I get a nasty comment, like on my drama channel, it's usually towards me. It's not about the topic at hand, right? But somebody said that they made a really disparaging remark about Jeffree Star and that nobody said anything negative about that in the comment section, and that, you know, like, or they stood up for a comment or something like that. I don't know how it was. And they had like this conversation, like there wasn't this fight that went back and forth. But I don't know, you know, like, and then what's funny is I'll say that, and then like, I'll say like, I said this in a vlog not too long ago, like a month or two ago, and I said something about like, I guess I don't have any like younger audiences or whatever. And literally the next day I got like 4 or 5 like young people that like emailed me, and it was like 2 young ladies that were like, I watch your videos while I'm getting ready for high school in the morning, and my mom and I watch you every day. And then there was like 3 girls from college that were like, I love your videos, I've watched you for 3 years now, you've gotten me through my freshman year of college. You know, like that is so cool too, that like my videos, like, and these are vlogs, you know, that I mean, so those young ladies are probably still out there right now, that it kind of like goes across, you know, like all boundaries of age and gender and things like that. And I mean, gender maybe not so much, 94% female. Hey, I'm all right with that, you know, like, I was raised and supported by some of the most fantastic sister mother types in the entire world, so it doesn't surprise me one bit that I think that's probably the energy I put out there and I receive as well, is probably on some level, you know, more feminine energy. I don't know, that doesn't surprise me, and I love that, you know. And I say this, I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for the women in my life. But that being said, I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for the men in my life too. And I have a lot of men that really taught me how to be a man of character and what that means, you know, including my father. And I'm very grateful for that today, you know. I also just think that a lot of my topics that I talk about are probably not super interesting too. You know. But that was interesting. And, what else? No, I think that my topics are super interesting. I don't think that my topics are super interesting, except for maybe this channel. Like, I don't think that, like, my drama channel, like, talking about, you know, James Charles and the Tati Westbrook or something, is Jeffree Star, is super interesting to, like, just some, you know, average, random 40-year-old heterosexual man that's single sitting at home is probably not going to turn on my video. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, like, years ago, it was like a video that Gigi Gorgeous did, and it was like, she was talking about hate comments that she received, and it was like on a video called like something like doing my makeup or my favorite makeup things or whatever, right? And she was like, she would read these comments, and the comments were like horrific, and they were like, but what she said was so funny because it was so true. Like the comments would be like, you blah 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 blah, you should, you know, why, like what did I stumble across, like what is this video that I'm watching? And okay, I had to pull in here to change my battery, and I don't know if it's gonna be, I don't know if my other battery that I just put in there is good or not, but like that battery was dead to the world. So I had to pull in here to change the battery, but like I wanted to finish the thing that I was saying about, oh, it's not, it's gonna die. Anyway, okay, but what I was saying about Gigi Gorgeous was, she did this video years ago, and I don't know, it was like a makeup video or something like that, like my favorite makeup brands of like the month or the week or something like that. And then she was like reading these comments off of it, these like really nasty comments that she had received. And she's like, you know, I tag my videos certain things, and the channel, the title is literally like my favorite makeup, you know, of the whatever. And she was like, and people would say things on there like, I don't know how I stumbled across this channel and blah, 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 you're disgusting. And she's like, you're obviously like not, if you come to this video, you're obviously not gonna find like a ESPN commentary, right? Like, so why are you watching this video? Like, I tag it certain things for certain reasons. And I was like, it's so true, you know? But anyway, okay, you guys, listen, my battery is gonna die, so I need to get off here. I'm sorry that I have to cut it kind of short at the very end, but I think it is around, I don't know, maybe, I think it's probably like 50 minutes, an hour, I don't know. Anyway, tomorrow, when you're watching this, it is Christmas Eve! Oh my God! Happy Christmas Eve! Happy Christmas Eve! What was that Christmas song that was in? Santa Claus is. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing, I should have been doing all that because now it's going to cut short. Watch, it'll just end. I hope you guys are having an amazing Monday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something, take a risk. Take a positive risk in your life. Do something fun today. Do something that when you look back on, you'll be proud of yourself from doing. Do something today that will be a positive change for the future. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I love you. You right there that needed to hear that today. I love you. And make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you. You are valuable. You are important. You matter. You are beautiful. And today is going to be an amazing day. It's going to be a fantastic, great, awesome day. And most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how important they are to you. You guys are really, really important to me. Thank you for watching every single day. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. I love you guys, and I don't know what I would do without you. I don't. Anyway, so Merry Christmas Eve, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Bye. Just one last, I love you. Bye. Bye. And I remembered what the song is. Come on, everybody, to Santa Claus's party. Merry Christmas!